The movie starts with Jennifer arriving on an empty island completely exhausted and worn out. She and her husband Jack, along with their friends, Bill and Gail, were on a cruise led by Captain Gary Richards. While boarding the cruise, Gail developed a huge crush on Manuel, a crew member on the yacht, and openly expressed her desire for a sexual encounter, which Jennifer disapproved of, even though Jack also found the crew member attractive enough. Meanwhile, Manuel, who had a history with Maria, his ex-girlfriend, got into a heated argument with her as they boarded the yacht. This ended with Manuel retaliating by hitting her, causing her to curse at everyone and leave. That evening during dinner, Manuel served the group when Jack brought up a scene from the docks, but Manuel refused to discuss it. Jennifer scolded Jack for bringing it up, but he insisted on calling Manuel a bad guy. Meanwhile, Maria tried to seduce Manuel by performing a voodoo ritual on him to get back at him for what he did. Later that night, Jack and Jennifer returned to their room, and Manuel, who was in the room next door, overheard their intimate moments. Maria continued her ritual, but it didn't harm Manuel. He only had a nosebleed as a consequence. The next morning, Jennifer and Gail were in the tub chatting about Manuel. Then Jack complained about Manuel's attitude. This led to a heated argument, with Richards threatening Manuel. Manuel decided to step down and left the kitchen, accidentally igniting a fire when he threw a handkerchief onto an open flame. Unaware of the fire, Manuel and the group had to escape on a lifeboat when the yacht exploded. They ran into a storm and got separated on the island. Next we see Jennifer sitting alone in a secluded island. Then she discovered Richards' body floating in the water and tried to revive him, but Manuel confirmed Richards was dead. That night, it rained heavily, and Manuel kept Jennifer warm by sharing his shirt and cuddling with her. The next morning, Jennifer woke up to find that Manuel had already buried Richards. She then suggested starting a fire, but Manuel pointed out they lacked a way to start one. They built a beach hut later that day while exchanging glances. The following day, Manuel invited Jennifer for a swim, and she reluctantly joined him in the water. Jennifer asked Manuel why he had struck the woman on the docks the other day. He explained that she had lied about being pregnant to force him into marriage, calling her toxic. Jennifer chuckled and asked about her own purity before marriage, which made Manuel accuse her of having double standards. He argued that she had privileges, just like her husband, and that he was keeping her alive on the island, so she owed him. Despite Jennifer's initial desire to leave, Manuel wouldn't look away from her, and she walked naked back to the beach while Manuel commenting on her beautiful ass. Next morning, Manuel went lobster hunting at the reef, and there he found Jack by the water. He brought him back to the hut where Jennifer reunited with her husband, and they reconnected, sharing an intimate moment. Afterward, Jennifer and Manuel allow Jack to rest. When Jack wakes up, he finds them laughing as they try to catch a crab on the sand. Somehow he becomes suspect of his wife having an affair with Manuel. They returned back to the beach and found Jack has started the fire. And there Jack expresses his concerns about Manuel having goggles and a knife, but Jennifer believes that Manuel might have had them in his pocket when the ship went down. Later, Jack suggested Manuel should take Jennifer in catching some fish. She reluctantly agrees to his proposal but leave with Manuel. In the water, Jennifer gets stung by a jellyfish, and they return to the beach. There, they discover that Jack has moved away Manuel's belongings and has shifted them in another small hut. This makes Manuel very annoyed that his hut was moved without his consent. Jennifer corrects her husband's behavior, but he remains stubborn and continues to claim that she likes Manuel. He also suggests that something happened between them before his arrival on the beach. Later, Manuel is cooking the seafood, then Jennifer approaches him, and she apologizes for her husband's behavior. Jennifer tries to find a common ground and mentions to Jack that Manuel studied civil engineering for 2 years, but Jack uses this as an opportunity to question Manuel's skills. This makes Manuel very furious, and he accuses Jack for being judgmental and decides not to help them find food anymore. This makes Jennifer very disappointed, and she then expresses her disappointment to Jack and worries about their survival on the island. But Jack claims he can provide enough food for both of them. He leaves for the mission. Then Jennifer goes to Manuel and asks if he's angry with her. Manuel reassures her that he's not, offering her some of his food, which she declines, feeling guilty about disappointing Jack. Manuel then accuses Jack of being an abusive husband, which makes Jennifer very upset, and she starts to leave, but Manuel, however, promises to keep the secret of her eating his food from Jack. Manuel makes advances toward Jennifer, who chuckles at his jokes, and before returning to the hut to express her appreciation, she kisses his cheek casually. Next we see Jennifer eating the fish that Manuel gave her. When Jack returns from the reef, she quickly hides the burned stick and the fire in the sand before running towards Jack, who shows her 3 tiny fishes he had caught. While trying to light his cigarette, he notices that the burned stick has pieces of fish stuck to it, and he becomes suspicious that Manuel was feeding Jennifer in his absence. He asks Jennifer about it, to which she replied that she stole some food from Manuel and ate it despite knowing that he might overreact. She admits not saving any food for her husband. The next morning, while catching the crabs, Jack notices that their campfire has died, but Manuel's fire is still burning. Jack accuses Manuel of stealing their fire, leading to a physical fight between them. Manuel threatens to stab Jack with a makeshift spear and while arguing, but Jack accuses him of stealing their fire and fish earlier, and then he takes his roasted fish in retaliation and leaves in fury. The following day, Jack steals Manuel's goggles while he's asleep and makes his own spear from scrap metal. When Manuel realizes his goggles are missing, he goes after Jack angrily. Jennifer realizes the heat of the situation and tries to stop Manuel from going after Jack. This led to a physical retaliation from Manuel as he is trying to remove himself from Jennifer. Already charged up, Manuel then takes this as an opportunity and forces himself upon her and tries to remove her tiny bikini. Jennifer initially retaliates to Manuel's sexual advance by begging him to leave her, but then a hidden force of emotion takes over her and suddenly she starts enjoying his company. They start having passionate sex right there on the beach while Jack is struggling to catch fishes under the water. Once they are done, Jennifer starts having a guilty feeling about it and she asks Manuel not to say anything to her husband. Manuel then tells her his feelings about her and promises that he won't say a thing. Jack later comes out of the water with a large fish and he proudly tells Jennifer about coming across sharks and successfully catching a fish. But he is surprised by her cool response. He then realizes there are very strange and mixed reactions of guilt on her face. He becomes suspicious of her behavior and asks her what happened here in his absence, to which Jennifer tells him about the earlier chaotic behavior of Manuel once he finds out that Jack has stolen his goggles. Jack is now sure about what happened in his absence and his temperament goes to the sky. He starts calling her all short of characterless names. Soon his fury takes over and he drags her by the hair towards Manuel's hut. Manuel notices all this and he comes out to rescue Jennifer. Next day we see Jack finds a broken lifeboat while fishing and brings it to the beach. Manuel and Jennifer notice this and run towards him to give a helping hand, but Jack declined the offer. The boat has a big hole, but Jack tries to repair it while Jennifer approaches him and tells him to reconsider his decision. Furious, Jack accuses her of infidelity and Jennifer leaves his sight. Jennifer tells Manuel about Jack's plan of leaving tomorrow during dinner. And while swimming in the water during their passionate intimate moments, she suggests to steal Jack's boat and leave the beach. Manuel is surprised by her demands but agrees to do the same. Next day Jack goes fishing again and Manuel sees the opportunity to flee the spot. They immediately start preparing to leave, but meanwhile Jack comes out from the water and notices them stealing his boat. He starts running towards them only to make them run away hurriedly. He yells at them, but once they are not in his reach he chuckles sarcastically as he knows the consequences. Soon we see Jennifer and Manuel floating in the water happily when suddenly Jennifer notices a hole in the boat which was made by Jack deliberately. The water starts filling in the boat, which makes them panic and they decide to head back to the island. But the boat soon sank in the water and they started swimming towards the island. We see Jack has burned Manuel's hut and he is feasting calmly on the fish Manuel has caught earlier. Soon Jennifer approaches the island calling Manuel's name. A sleeping Jack wakes up and walks towards her with his spear, laughing at her condition. Soon we see Manuel swimming nearby and Jack then walks towards him. Jennifer tries to stop him but Jack keeps moving towards him. Manuel is tired from swimming and cannot not fight, so he starts running away, but Jack throws his spear, piercing him in the back. Manuel falls down and Jack starts hurting him more, but Jennifer comes to his rescue, pushing Jack away from him. Manuel then picks a stone and hits Jack badly before running away. Next we see Jack has tied Jennifer and he is reminding her of their wedding vows before hurting her, but suddenly Manuel appears from the dark and hits Jack from behind. This led to a physical fight between them, and seeing this as an opportunity Jennifer also tries to free herself. A fierce fight is going on between the two men and suddenly Jack picks up the spear, but before he could hit Manuel, Jennifer comes to his rescue again and pushes away Jack. Following this they both run away from the spot. Next we see Jack following the footsteps in the sand in order to find them, which led him inside the wood, and we also see Maria performing her voodoo ritual to kill Manuel this time. Jack's relentless pursuit finally brought him to the place where Jennifer and Manuel are hiding on a tree branch. He notices them and throws his spear towards Manuel, who has become sick because of Maria's black magic. The spear hit him and fell down from the tree. Jack then pulls a knife from his pocket to kill him, but Jennifer jumps onto him to protect Manuel, which leads to a physical altercation between them. Meanwhile Manuel stands up and picks up a big rock to hit Jack, but because of black magic he has become powerless, and we see Maria performing the last step of her black magic, which is deliberately piercing a doll to a nail in the ground. This was the final call to kill Manuel and he fell dead on the ground. Time has passed on the island and one day a family arrives on their cruise. They find Jennifer lying in the hut and inquire about her. Jennifer lied to them that she came all alone, and before leaving with the family she picks up Jack lighter in order to leave him for dead. Soon we see Jennifer having her snacks calmly on the shores and Jack appearing out of water. He sees Jennifer moving away on the cruise. She also notices him and smirks but does not stop the cruise and leaves him to die.